We have more details about the breaking news we told you just before the break. The deficit is going to be cut for 2009 by the White House by $262 billion to $1.58 trillion. There's a reason for that. Apparently, they have scrapped contingency plans to provide hundreds of billions of dollars in additional aid to the financial industry. So once again, the deficit is going to be reduced in 2009 to only $1.58 trillion. That is a reduction of $262 billion less than what they had forecast in May. And the reason is they are scrapping contingency plans to provide hundreds of billions of dollars in additional aid to the financial industry. Let's talk more about this with our two guests who we had standing by to talk about the health care debate, but they're going to weigh in on this as well. Mark Walsh is founding CEO of Air America and the host of the Sirius radio show Left Jab, and CNBC contributor and syndicated columnist Jerry Bowyer. Guys, good to see you. Mark, let me start with you. What do you think about the fact that the deficit is going down because we're not going to give $262 billion to the banks?
Yay, we saved a whole lot of money. Way to go. Well, I think it actually is good news. It shows that the banking sector is rebounding in a more robust and frankly, more quick fashion than some would have predicted. I'm still concerned about the sector. I think any observer probably is, economist or not. And I think often these deficit projections, as we've seen year after year under different administrations, are always a little bit off anyway. So it's a great number, but what's left, to your point, is still a very large number.
Jerry, that was my initial kind of sense of it as well. The fact that they're not giving money to the banking system is actually good news, because we should take it at face value that they think the banking system doesn't need it, which would be good news.
Well, it's good news, right, because it shows the banks are strong. It's good news because we shouldn't be subsidizing the banks. It's good news that they recognize that. But, I mean, we have to have a pretty low fiscal standard to throw a little party for a $1.6 trillion deficit. I mean, and that ties together with the rest of the segment, too. In this kind of environment, to be talking about launching brand new entitlements when it's good news that it's down to $1.5
trillion deficit, what's going to happen if we pass Obamacare?
Well, it's another $1 trillion, according to the CBO, and the CBO was bending over backwards as much as it could to accommodate the Obama administration. Private groups are more at 2 or 3. Some have even said $4 trillion. So, of course, it's a deficit buster. It's a big spender. It's a horrible plan.
Mark,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mark, what if the Dems do go it alone, the Republicans all stay on the sidelines? Can the Democrats get it done, and what does that plan look like? Does that mean the public option is in there for sure?
Well, you have a political discussion going on and a business discussion going on. Let me start political. So counting noses, if we start with 60 Democratic senators, let's knock out Ted Kennedy because of his health. You're down to 59. Let's say there are about 8 blue dogs. You're down to 51. The Democrats could pass this with 50 because Joe Biden would cast the deciding vote like Al Gore did back in the Deficit Reduction Act back in the Clinton administration. So with 50 votes, the Democrats could actually get the Obamacare plan passed.
When you say the Obamacare plan, are you talking about a full-on public option, or are you talking about this co-op idea that Ken Conrad keeps pushing?
In my opinion, and many other rational elected officials and economists, the co-op plan is a failure. This would include the public option, yes.
Oh, Jerry, what would that do to the markets if the public option actually passed?
Well, it would be very destructive to the financial markets, and more to the point, it would be very destructive to the unemployment rate, because one of the reasons the small business people aren't hiring is over the fear that we might get a public option. And let's talk about this co-op thing for a second, because the main co-op plan that's circulating has been the Schumer, not the Conrad plan. And those co-ops are government mandated, government financed, and I actually look at the details of the plan. The Treasury, or the Health and Human Services Secretary, gets to approve or disapprove of any of their plans. So the co-op thing, depending on what version you're talking about, still is a public option. So they're going to push for public option with all their heart, because this is like the holy grail to the Democratic left, and they want what they want when they want it. I don't think they have enough votes to get it, but I think they're going to try.
Mark, what do you say to Jerry saying that we get the public option and the markets really suffer because of it?
First of all, I fundamentally disagree that, quote, they want what they want and they're going to get it. Now, I think that's just incorrect. Obama ran on a platform of reforming health care. That's what we voted for, and he had a mandate bigger than Ronald Reagan's when he won. Point number one. Point number two, whether you argue the co-ops or not the public option, the important fact is that the health care system is rising in cost every single year. So you can talk about a $1 trillion deficit addition over 10 years, by the way, and you can claim the CBO is not claiming any savings, which is wrong. But you also have to realize if we do nothing, the cost of health care is going north. That hurts markets, that hurts employers, and I would argue that other than the pharma sector, if this plan passes, the Dow will rise.
Jerry, you know, they keep talking about this issue of rising costs. I agree. The costs keep rising, but they never want to get to the heart of the issue, which is that we are not connected to our health care in any way in this country. You have this third-payer system, whether it's the employer or whether it's the government. You always have somebody in between you who's making the decisions for you. If we made our own decisions, we'd be a lot better off.